What is up, everybody? Ryan, ATX Metal Podcast, back again with another episode. And in this episode, we have The God Awful Truth, a band that touched my soul in Houston and have been on my to get list. And fortunately for me and you can see them December 7th at Come and Take It Live for the 10-year anniversary show. We are here today with Jordan Dalton. Go around the room, introduce yourself, what you do in the band, where you're from, and then we'll just go from there.
Well, I'm Jordan. I'm the vocalist. I do some of the art, and I reside in Wichita Falls, Texas.
I'm Dalton. I play the drums. I'm from Wichita Falls, Texas, but I live in Denton, Texas now. And I don't do the art. I play the drums, and I do what I can.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me, for taking time out of your day to have a conversation about not only your band but yourselves. Like I've said, my introduction to the God Awful Truth was for the last show at Acadia Bar and Grill, and I think that was Mammoth Fest 3.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely amazing show, because I was honored enough to be able to bring the Thumbscrew guy, not all the guy, but I got to travel with Thumbscrew and just be there for my one and only time ever seeing them and being able to be at their last show, but also get to see new bands that I've never heard of, but I'm glad that I did. And that's where I met you guys. And I completely fangirled. I probably attacked Graham a little bit too much, but your not only your music, but your live set, that's what really sucked me in. And I'm a fan of a party, as I'm sure most of you guys are. For those that aren't familiar with the God Awful Truth in your music, just take us through, how long has it been a project, who started it, where we're at now, just all the, like I said earlier, just the standard, who are you highlights, and then we'll kind of move into, new music and all that jazz.
You can go first, Jordan, unless you want me to take it.
So me, Dalton, and Ben our guitar player, have been playing together since 2006, and we played in a band called Light of December for our high school years and a little bit after, and then we started playing music again together in like 2010, I think, and then so we kind of took like a 6-month to like a year break, and then we started doing God Awful Truth instead. And since then, we've kind of like worked on it, and now we have Graham as a bass player, which we've never had a bass player until this album. In our last split was when we finally actually were able to write music with a bass player. But yeah, so basically since 2010, I think, is basically when we started.
So who started the band? Wait, did I miss that?
No, it was technically you and Ben, right?
Yeah, so technically when we were like younger, it was me and our guitar player, Ben. And then we needed a drummer, and we ended up jamming with Dalton, who Ben's known his whole life. And then I had known Dalton maybe 4 or 5 years at that point. And then we started jamming, and that just kind of took off. And then we ended up in that band having another guitar player and a keyboard player, but only our guitar player rolled over into the God Awful Truth. And then after our first EP, he ended up not being in the band. But our keyboard player, actually, he's still one of our really good friends, and he actually helps write some of our interlude tracks on our last 2 albums. And he's actually just really smart musically, so if we have a question with music, he usually helps us solve it.
Problem solver. Check.
Yeah, he's my
Always good to
roommate,
have
so he's the man.
What's that?
I said he's my roommate, he's the man. He's
Yeah.
good dude.
Yeah.
Makes for an easy problem solver.
And we practice at their house, so it's pretty convenient.
Even better. I do think, I guess it's always been a staple to just go over to the homie's house and jam, but I just feel like just as music progresses, it seems more and more like everybody just now has a almost practice studio like in their house. It's just like the spare bedroom, or the foyer or whatever. But
super convenient.
So started in 2010 as the God Awful Truth. Did I get that right?
Yeah, we changed the name of the previous band, and we knew we weren't going to have our keyboard player So that's when we kind of started. We actually took old songs from our other band that were never released and like reworked a lot of those parts. And that kind of was like the first few songs that we had for God Awful Truth.
I gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Where did the God Awful Truth come from? Like the name.
It's the last song on the band Fear Before the March of Flames' second album, Art Damage. And when we used to play with like a lot of red lights in our old band, and we were all like fans of Fear Before. And there's actually a video of them playing that song online, and they have all these red lights, and it was almost like we were playing that song in a weird way, even just the way the stage kind of like looked and stuff. And we always really liked that album as a band. When we were like searching for names and like looking through things, I threw that out there, and at first we were like, I don't know about naming it after a song, but it just kind of like was one of those things that eventually it just like stuck. So we kept
right. I think the naming of the band, because you don't really, I don't know. I've had people tell me that they just looked through a dictionary and then took a word and then went to the thesaurus and just tried to go from there. Or like you said, bands, song titles, or maybe even a lyric in a song. Does it ever like to occur to you to like, what is this name going to be in 10 years, in 15 years? Or is it more of just an in the moment kind of thing?
So definitely with our last band, it was called Light of December, and we were just young, and it was one of those things where people always associated us with like Christmas and like other things like that. And we definitely, when coming up with this name, we were like, we have to like a little bit mean something, which to me, the God Awful Truth just means like the truth is honest and can hurt you and stuff like that. So like I feel like there's a little bit of meaning there, but I feel like it also isn't as like, I don't know. I feel like no one's going to hear that name and be like, well, they're obviously associated with Christmas or something weird. You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. It's a weird way without sounding like weird. It's a cooler name, I guess.
I could tell you for the holidays, a lot of people probably do need the God Awful Truth told to them around the kitchen table. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes down at dinner tables during the holidays. I mean, there's funny times and there's people that, you bring up, like my wife is a bartender, and she says two things you never talk about at the dinner table or the bar is religion and politics. But somehow in some families that always comes up. Hey, Kevin, who'd you vote for? Just, man.
No, we were on tour a couple years ago, and we were going to Florida for the first time, and my dad lives there. And I immediately told everybody in the band, I was like, please try your best not to talk about religion or politics, because my dad and stepmom definitely have the opposite views as us, and they'll love to argue. Nothing against them, I love them, but it's just one of those things where luckily we got away without avoiding that for the most part. Especially at this day and age, talking about that stuff sometimes is just like, let's just move on.
Yeah, it is an interesting environment in which we are currently living, not only in just America, but just in the world as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of shit going on. I could be podcasting about a God knows how many other topics, but I really got not involved per se, but just started paying attention more, teens into politics. I was kind of just, it doesn't really, whatever. But then, I stumbled across a friend that's wanted to start a podcast 10 years ago, and here we are, still kicking it, still doing it. And this is what I'm really interested in, is supporting local music that I feel is just, it's just, like I said, your guys' live set, I can't wait for people to witness this on December 7th. It's going to be, I mean, and then Steak Sauce Mustache, we'll kind of go back a little bit. They were playing the fest as well. I have never heard of them. Turns out that my buddy Andy from Koningsor is the drummer.
Yeah.
And shout out Koningsor. He said he loves you guys.
Yeah, well. we love both those bands. They're both awesome. Super, super nice people.
Yeah, at least I'm trying to look at the flyers here. Can't remember the last time Koningsor was on the show. But like I said earlier, y'all's music, I guess it's technically classified as mathcore? Did I read that right?
That's what a lot of people corner us into. We just consider it like chaotic metalcore, like it's a mix of metal and hardcore, and we just kind of put a little chaos in there. But yeah, we definitely have like a lot of weird number parts, or even parts that seem like they're weird. So I feel like a lot of people throw us in the mathcore, and the mathcore community has been super amazing to us. So we're not, we don't shy away from it too much.
Yeah, I can't remember what song you guys came out to that caught my attention at the show, but once I heard probably 30 seconds of that first song, I instantly was just like up front, just watching you guys absolutely kill it. And the question that I had was, is the chaoticness, I mean, because there's some really cool, like, God, what is that song in the new album that's just, I'm gonna pull it up, give me a second, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm bad with names too, so I understand.
And yeah, I am the absolute worst when it comes to naming. I mean, hey, who produced that album back in 2000? I don't fucking know. Was it good? Like, oh man, it was like the only kind of the Rainmaker? No, that's not it. Phantom Branches of Dance, maybe that one. That lo-fi,
okay,
kind of like instrumental-ish. I am so breaking protocol right now. I should have this linked to my. Can't believe I just did that.
No, that's actually one of the ones my roommate, our ex keyboard player, helped me write.
Tell me about that one, because I really enjoyed that kind of like palette cleanse right in the middle. It was because, like I said, your songs are chaotic. They are great to work out to, exercise to, jam in the car. I can't count how many times I've been on the way down to Come and Take It, and I'm like, well, time to get pumped, and just throw on the new album and just listen from top to bottom, or as long as it takes me to drive. But that one was kind of stuck in my head. Like, I guess why? Was there a reason to throw that in there, or is it just something that you were like, well, this fits? Click.
Well, like on the last album, which is like our first full length, we kind of did the same thing in the middle of the album, which we used the term palette cleanser. So I like that you think about it like that as well. But that one was a little bit more like slow and industrial. So with this one, we knew we wanted to have an interlude, but I kind of wanted to do kind of keep it in that industrial realm, but just make it much quicker. And it was just one of those things that I was just curious, because me and my roommate, we were writing it. And as I'm writing, I'm like, man, I like this. I just don't know if they are, just because it is just so different than what we typically do. But then when Jordan put his vocals on it, it kind of ties it together a little bit and makes it a little bit more us. So I dig it, just because we try to be different and do different things. And I think it is a very different song for us.
It is, like you said, with Jordan on there, definitely it ties it together, because if you're just, lost listening to an album and it's kind of just on, and then you hear some kind of tempo change or something different come out of the speakers, like, wait a minute, is this still the same song? Okay, yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, it definitely it gave me pause for a minute, because I was so amped up 1 through 6, just like, woo. And then you get to that song and they kind of like brings you back down, and then you ramp it right back up. One of my favorites is it Omelette de Fromage? Is that right? Cheese omelet? Man, that's what that one is one of my favorites personally.
Me as well.
It's really fun to play.
Yeah, well, let's go. Yeah, I was gonna say let's get into the music, because you guys recently for this year, it's if I get this right, yeah, All That Dark and All That Cold. That is probably, I'm putting it in my top 10 best albums for Texas this year. Not that my list matters, but I really think that album is just where it's at. I mean, it's more than 4 songs. It's, typically EP these days 3, 4, 5. Not that that's a bad thing, but I really like the journey to go through, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs. How did that one come to be? Is this all new material, or is this more just an extension or your growth as a band?
It was all new, and this one was unique for us, because like Jordan said earlier, this was the first thing that we've had with a bass player, which was fun for me personally, just because like there's certain things that when we were writing and it was just me and Ben, our guitarist, there were just certain things that we couldn't really do because he had a setup to where he had like an octave pedal, so he was playing bass and guitar at the same time, so he could only do so much. So having a bass player kind of opened up the door for a lot of things, and just having Graham in general. Like Graham he's very smart musically, so if there was ever a time, it's inevitable that we're going to hit walls. So having another person that could bring different ideas to the table helped a lot, and it kind of helped round out our sound in general. Yeah, it was all new material. And yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but all the song titles are like references to movies or TV shows.
No,
like
I
all the
didn't.
new homage is from Dexter's Lab.
Man, talk about throwback. My God.
Yeah, we're like Graham is probably the least out of us, but the other three of us are super into like movies and TV shows, and whenever we watch anything, we always like talk about it and like share it with each other. But like at a certain point, we just started naming all of our songs, and like the album titles or like EP titles are all like something from a TV or a movie or something that we all saw or liked, and we thought like fit well. And we think it's just like a cool thing that like people can like a weird Easter egg that people will catch on and go watch that movie and or something.
Dude, I like that idea, because that even more, I feel like that personalizes, I guess it personalizes like the band as a whole, because now, if like you said, that little Easter egg, I didn't know that. That's amazing. So now I guess the hunt is to figure out what the titles are referencing.
Yeah.
It's honestly cool when people like will be like, "Oh, is that from so and so?" And it's like, it's a nice little extra game inside the game.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing your homework. Okay, so I'll just go off the top. We're just naming off the new album here. Symbology. What was that one in reference to?
That's Boondock Saints. And then so some of the lyrics and some of the songs are also lines or like scenes from like movies. So the last vocals of that, you insignificant little fuck, that is the bad guy in Boondock Saints. He's like saying that it's one of the other characters, and like when he's like when is it, I feel like I'm messing up names. I'm so bad with names, but is it Rocky? Is that their friend with the beard?
Rocky?
Yeah. When he's like meeting the like mob boss, he is saying that to someone on the phone. He's like, "You insignificant little yeah." Like he's trying to, but yeah. So like the lyrics for that are from that, and then we also put the symbology is like when they're doing the first like detective case, the dumb detectives are like saying something, and he's like, "Is it the symbology?" And then William Dafoe's like, "I think the word you're looking for is symbolism."
Symbolism.
Yeah, but yeah, we named it Symbology because it kind of fits the lyrics at the end, and it just kind of like made sense.
Dude, I officially love you even more. Thank you. Boondock Saints, I mean, that's been sampled, obviously, by Brandon Chiappetti. You know, there was a firefight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just, my God. And I actually talked to a hardcore band called Backbiter in Ohio, and he was of the same mindset that he was a movie buff, and he would just rip sample lines out and, you know, either throw them in like an intro or, you know, in a breakdown. So that's great. All right, let's go to We Put You Through the Window. What? You're going that far back?
Oh, wait,
yeah, I'm sorry. I forget that you guys are like early 30s. So, okay, that checks out.
Oh, yeah.
The Crow. Woo! Kids, don't tell your parents you're going to watch that one, okay?
Oh, not the new one.
Yeah, it's the old Crow, not the new Crow.
The old Crow. Yeah, the old Crow, not the new one. Let's see. Bad Tooth.
Room.
With Brie Larson. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, not The Room with Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah,
but
not
Room with Brie Larson.
No. Is it a movie?
Yeah. It's, without giving away too much, it's basically about a kidnapped victim who's been like living with the predator or whatever for like years, and they actually have a child with the predator, and they're still like, you know, in a hostage situation. So it's about them and their child. But it's
heavy, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is the song reference any of that? I'm just curious.
No,
not.
the song is no. Not all of them reference it, but
And then let's see. We'll just do last one. Actually, we'll go back. So you say all of them are based off of movie titles and stuff. What about You've Got Red on You?
oh, that's Shaun of the Dead. And the song is actually slightly about zombies. It's actually not about zombies. It's about the human race basically becoming so effed up that like we're killing ourselves. But I like tried to use zombie references in the song for that. So yeah, it's like slightly about apocalyptic situation and stuff. But yeah, You've Got Red on You.
Man. Well, 10 out of 10. Do recommend every single movie. I guess I'll have to check out Bad Tooth, right?
A Room.
Yeah, Room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A Room. Okay. I'm gonna write that one down. A Room. And I'll watch that one by myself. In the dark with a blanket. Woo! Man. All right. Well, let's keep digging into the latest album. How have you guys how's it been received in terms of just overall, and has there been any standouts from the album?
I think so far it's been the most streamed thing we've ever put out. Like literally compared to like when we look at our numbers and stuff, like it's done really good, and it's been in other countries and stuff like that, which is really cool. And definitely like our like Symbology being a single, and I think it being a more palatable for some people who maybe don't like screaming as much and stuff like that. I feel like that song has definitely been a standout. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at some of the numbers for the other ones of which ones really were listened to the most, but I know Symbology definitely has been.
Yeah, Symbology was, I mean, I couldn't get away from Symbology. I don't know if the algorithm was just like, you need this in your life, or paid partnership or whatever, but like once you guys released it, it just kept showing up, and then that just hooked me. And then when the album dropped, I was like, well, top to bottom, here we go. And was just, it's so good. It's so good. I don't say that because you guys are on the bill. Like, I genuinely think that this album is really good, and that people should get out of their comfort zone a little bit, because the music is, like Jordan said, it's chaotic. But I do like the fact that you said it's like, it's a blend of hardcore, metalcore, with some chaos in the middle, mathcore sprinkled on top. Because some of the timing in that is just wild. Dalton, have you always played tough music like this?
Well, it's funny because I grew up playing, because I started playing with them when I was like, what, 14?
Yeah.
But I also played for the church. So like I got very different ends of the spectrum starting off. Played church music and then metal. And yeah, like I like weird things. So I just try to keep it weird. But not too weird. It has to be listenable. Like, it's chaotic. I like to think of it as controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Who's the is there like a primary songwriter when it comes to the band, or is it more of a team effort?
Dalton like structures the songs, and mostly like for the most part he'll like have an idea and be like, oh, I have an idea for the drums and how it would flow and part from part to part. And even sometimes he'll even still be building that as he's going, but he has like the basic blueprint. And then we'll figure out how to put like the guitar and bass to that. And sometimes he'll even kind of already hear that in his head. And so he'll play like a keyboard or something and kind of show them like, oh, maybe something like this. And then they'll figure out how to transpose that and change it. But like Ben and Graham also bring in ideas, and then we throw all that together. And then we actually, when they're writing, I'm not there for almost any of the writing, but they'll film like, okay, this is a minute and a half of this new song that we got. We're done with practice today, but they'll film that and then send it to me. And then I'll tell them maybe what I like or don't like, or where I think they maybe should go. Or even if they're like, man, we don't know what to do with this part, I'll be like, well, what if you did this? But then I even send the videos back to them to where they can access it whenever they want, and everybody can just kind of talk about it. And we'll have like versions of like demo versions of different songs and like see how it builds and stuff too. So it's pretty organic.
Wow. Okay. I like that. I like the team effort. I know there's some bands out there where either the vocalist or the guitarist is like the lead dude, and that's it. No more, no less. You're just playing these parts that I'm writing, which is fine. everybody has their workflow. I did have a question. So you said you guys have been playing since you were 14?
Yeah, I'm
And you're
like
both from Wichita?
yeah,
Falls?
Wichita Falls.
Where did you guys go to school together?
It's actually
earlier.
me and Ben went to school together, but him and Ben went to church together. Their parents all went to the same church like before they were even born, so they've known each other since they were literally like babies. And then when I met Ben, we were both like into like punk music and rock and metal and all that stuff, and so we like wanted to play music. And then it wasn't until we got a few years later we got older and Dalton started playing drums that we just all put it together.
Dalton's like, come over. I got a drum kit. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I've known Ben my whole life. Like we played action figures together as little kids. Like,
dude, that's cool. What were the bands you guys were into when you were young that kind of gave you that itch? I mean, you just don't wake up one day and say, I want to. I mean, maybe you did, but like, what was your story? I mean, Jordan, have you always been just a vocalist, or did you play another instrument and then move to vocals, or how'd that work out?
So I play guitar, but I definitely don't play metal guitar. I play more like pretty stuff, and like I've written or influenced a few things in the band on guitar, but not too much. But I just always wanted to play music, and when I went to shows, and so did Ben a little bit with our older sisters, went to like local shows and stuff, and just like always wanted to kind of play music. But I think influence wise, definitely Slipknot was definitely a big influence on me growing up, and then like bands like Norma Jean, and then when The Chariot came out and stuff like that, definitely just completely different than what I was grew up with. And so seeing something that crazy and chaotic, and then how fun it was live to go see bands like that too, I was just like, oh man, I want to be able to do that too.
Yes. Dalton?
Well, it's funny. I honestly wasn't even really into heavy music when they asked me to be in the band. I just wanted to be a homie, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I was in a metal band before I even really liked it, and then slowly got into it. But Under Oath, honestly, it was a big one for me, specifically the drummer, because I feel like nice. I feel like he utilizes his skill to its max, because there's other guys more technically talented than him, but he uses his skill set in a very unique and efficient way. And that's something I think of myself as well. Like there's dudes that can do shit that I can't do, but I think I utilize my skills in an efficient way.
Yeah. The drummer for Under Oath, his name, is it Aaron?
Gillespie or Gillespie.
Yeah. And he also did another project called The Almost. Is that right?
Yeah.
That is where I made my journey into Under Oath back in the day. And just by that koozie that I showed you, I just went to see Under Oath play their Only Chasing Safety 20-year tour at Stubbs in Austin. Man, you want to talk about coming out of just mosh pit retirement.
Yes.
I tend to consider myself a fit person, you know, run and go to the gym, eat healthy. But there were people in that pit that were just, they needed to get 20 years worth of just all of it out. And that was probably one of the wildest pit shows that and it wasn't anything brutal. It was just intensity from the first note to the last note. You know, Spencer's crowd control is amazing, but everybody was singing. And I mean, it was amazing. I'm so glad that I made it. I did make a mistake and thought that I purchased an entire VIP package, but apparently I just purchased a VIP experience, which was like meet and greet, you know, talk with the band.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
But because for those that don't know, that if you go to a show at Stubbs, you can get like a legit VIP experience, and they have like a inside room where you can get food and drinks and stuff and just be away from everybody else. So I drug my wife along, and I told her that we had VIP, but I bought these tickets back in April. So, you know, the show just happened a couple weeks ago, and I didn't realize what I had bought until we got there. Fortunately, my homie Abe from local band Purifier, he works there, and he explained everything. And I was like, Great. So we've missed absolutely all of the stuff that I paid for because we live in we live an hour north, and I was at work and we had to wait for the babysitter, and I was like, it's fine. Doors don't open until 6:30. They'll probably still be doing some stuff at like 6 or 6:15. Nope, not even. I was so mad, but I did get my little lanyard that said meet and greet. So, whatever that's worth. But the funniest part, one of the funniest parts was, when you go into the pit, you usually, if you might lose some things, you unearth your pockets to somebody and you're like, hold my phone, or, especially if you're going up, because, the under oath days, even still, but like the mid 2000s, it was Surf City, right? Everybody was coming forward, get thrown up and just go for it. And, you tend to lose some stuff. And I lost my hat. Yeah. Rest in peace. Again. And at the end of the show, I grabbed an empty box, and just started picking up hats, thinking one of these has to be mine. And sadly, none of them were mine. But as we were just going through them outside the venue, I saw this really cool, and it was an HEB hat. And I was like, dude, HEB. And this guy out of nowhere, that's my hat. We had a little moment there. When it comes to the god awful shows, what's one of the rowdiest times that you guys have been witness to at your show? That's
more of a you question. I'm typically like, I look up here and there, but I'm kind of just in my zone.
Oh, you're just out. You're just
yeah, like I'm disassociated. Like I don't know what's going on outside of my drum set.
I'm trying to think, because I am more front and center, so I should know. But the only thing I can really think of is one time we played a Halloween show, and we were all the Wizard of Oz. I was Dorothy. I was in a dress. It was great. But a bunch of our coworkers came, and a lot of them don't really like the music, but they just came to support and hang out and have fun. But a lot of them are girls. Well, one of their boyfriends was like really fucking drunk, and we have never met this guy, and he was like a big dude. But he ends up like getting mad while we're playing because his girlfriend is so into our set. And he ends up like mean mugging me while we're playing. And I could tell, I was like, man, what's wrong with this guy? And I ended up like getting on like this riser that we had at the time. And I like was slamming my mic stand down, just kind of like messing with them, just seeing like what he would do. But then Ben and everybody realized, and literally like we had like a song or two left or something, but he wanted to like fight us. But literally the place that we were at, everybody there was our friends. So like they had to like push him outside and kick him out and all this stuff. And it was pretty ridiculous. But literally like a week later, he was like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I was so drunk. I would never have done that. But it was really funny. But that's probably one of the rowdiest things that's probably happened, is someone trying to fight us almost while we're playing. But
man, that's sad. I mean, I'm happy that he came back and apologized. So, it takes a lot to say sorry these days, especially at a show. I mean, but then again, those instances I feel are far and few between now. I don't really hear of anybody, going off at a show and, being escorted out by the cops.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people that intentionally go to shows and, almost have like, a notch in their belt. They're like, yep.
Yeah. I know.
We're going to get some more today, boys. And it's like, if you're going in it for that reason, you're going for the wrong reason. You should go just to have a good time. But anyway, speaking of good time, December 7th, come and take it live. You guys have a really good spot. And I really hope that I'm able to pack as many bodies as possible. I'm going to do a fucking PR blitz like I've never done. Try and get some of the campus kids from UT out there. So after this year's over, what's on the horizon for the band? Do we have other albums, music videos, other tour dates, shows you guys got planned next year?
Not 100%. We're kind of in the midst of like talking about everything. We're hoping to do some kind of tour next year, hopefully like in spring break or like beginning of summer or something like that. But we definitely want to maybe put out a new song at least at some point. Maybe not like a whole album or EP or something, but just something to like keep people going at some point. And then definitely just like more merch and as many shows as we can get on. We've been a little bit busy this year just with our schedules and different things like that, but we definitely just want to do as much as we can.
Cool. What do you guys do for for like jobs? You don't have to say where you work, but just curious what everybody does as a
Well, I'm just
not a struggling artist, but yeah.
I'm just a server, but I've worked at the same place for an extremely long time. So like they're really good with my schedule, and if I need to go on tour or go play a show or do something, they're super easy about it. I don't have to worry.
Gotcha.
And I'm a bartender / manager bar I work at.
Yeah. Slinging drinks,
Yep.
serving people glorious music, one playlist at a time. Man, I am so pumped. I have so much ahead of me, and I'm kind of nervous, but anxious, but excited. You know, like that moment right before you get on stage. Do you guys have like a team meeting before the show? You know, like 1, 2, 3, God awful truth, or anything like that?
Definitely like a couple hours before we play, we talk about, okay, like we know the set, and Dalton will actually like question each member of the band and be like, so what's the set? And like, and it's always kind of funny because some of us do horrible, and we're like, I know we did this song, but that's all I know. But that's probably like the closest thing is like we'll just like double check the set list in our heads, and just make sure like if we were doing anything special, like okay, so like on one of our last shows, it was a Halloween show, and I planned to like have blood and like throw blood, and I told us like I can throw blood on y'all if y'all want, but that's up to you. And they were like, no, don't throw blood on me or my instrument, please. But no, yeah, we for the most part we communicate before the show. I feel like enough that the day we're usually just like, okay, yeah, like we second guess the set, but that's probably about it.
Nice. Yeah, it's always curious, like what everybody does to kind of shake off the jitters, or just kind of get ready for that first note.
We did used to like stretch, and I feel like maybe we still do barely, but I think we're also just at the age where it's gonna hurt no matter what. So
yeah,
we just go up there and do it. But
yeah, definitely stretching is key. It's very important to make sure that you have the dexterity to do what you need to do, because like I said, I've seen when I saw Graham just flying across the stage in Houston, and it's just so amazing to watch, people on stage and really just kind of lose themselves. No. And it's like, man, are you like this all the time? Like, no. Just here because tomorrow when I have 37 ice packs and a fistful of Tylenol, I'm going to regret everything I just did. But right now it's fun and we're doing it.
Yeah, I actually have arthritis in my neck, and I was told that it was probably from me headbanging, so I shouldn't headbang. So yeah, we already
can get a doctor's note for headbanging. What?
Yeah, basically.
Oh man. Well, I am through again, as I've said probably 14 times already. I am so excited to be able to bring you guys down and host you guys, just to lay it out there for one last hurrah during the year, and to be a part of my celebration of 10 years of not only local metal and music, but Texas, as a whole. It is a very large state, in case no one knew that. And there are a lot of people out there like these two guys and the rest of their bandmates and everybody else is going to be there just doing what they do for fun, but also providing everybody else, an outlet to cut loose every now and again. So I just wanted to say thank you for creating the art that you do, because without you guys, I'd be stuck with, man, I'm not sure, sludge metal. What's left? Not that there's anything wrong with sludge metal. Shout out Tibetan Sky Burial, but who will also be on the show. But it's going to be fun. Everybody on the bill has an attachment to the podcast. The one attachment, like I said, that you guys have is I'd only seen you one time, but I was so impressed from the live show and the music that I just told myself I have to get this to Austin at some point in time in front of somebody. So thank you very much for entertaining the idea and coming down, because I know it's not as easy to get down here from you guys call home Denton, right? Denton's where you tell people you're from.
We're kind of spread around, but yeah, that's probably the closest focal point.
Yeah. And when I tell people Denton, they still question mark, and I'm like, north of Dallas, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we just say we're from Dallas, even though none of us live in Dallas.
We're Dallas adjacent. Okay,
yeah.
Guys. But for everybody out there that doesn't know how to get a hold of you, what are all the all the ats website, anywhere that where can they support you the most?
Oh, let me make sure I don't say it wrong because I'm so bad about what it actually is.
Man. It's like, oh,
So
I think it's like
our Instagram is definitely our main focal point of getting a hold of us or any updates or anything like that. We still have TikTok and Facebook, which you can just search us and find us. But yeah, the God Awful Truth TX on Instagram is the best way. And we also have a link tree on there. So if you need to find anything else like videos or merch or anything, we do have a merch store on our Bandcamp too.
Yeah.
People are interested in that. But definitely Instagram is the focal point, and we'll send you to anywhere else you need to be for us.
Awesome. Awesome. Any final shout outs before we get out of here? Anybody you want to say thank you to? Mom, dad?
Well, thank you for having us, for sure. Thank you to you. And,
Yeah,
and being patient with our technical difficulties and everything.
It is, you know, that We Are the Millers, the movie where dudes like no regrets. Like, I'm going to probably get technical difficulties tattooed necklace style, because if
That would be awesome.
if I were to do a podcast and not have any technical difficulty, I would think that something is going to be wrong when I'm done. Like, I didn't hit record, or, you know, something else. So being able to work through these difficulties in real time is great. And for those listening, if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around, because Dalton was having trouble getting in, so I had to get him on tech support, which is me. But real quick, I wanted to ask Dalton, I was told that you just recently got rid of your flip phone.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm a bit of a caveman myself. My girlfriend had to help me get on here.
I knew it. I knew that's what was happening.
Shout out to the girlfriend.
But yeah, I had a flip phone until I was 28.
Okay. What
No social
was
media.
the flip? What was it? What was the flip phone? What, I guess, brand?
Motorola. I don't even know.
Yes. He's like, BlackBerry. Get out of here. No, I'm going through the phase where my daughter, she's 11, she's been wanting a phone since she was like 8. I keep saying no, you know, because when some of the major CEOs and people in the C-suite of these social media platforms are like, we don't give our kids phones, and they are heavily restricted until they're like 15 or 16. So I have been trying to get her to entertain the idea of a flip phone, because I keep telling her, you're a fucking child. You don't need the internet. You need to be able to call mom or dad, text us, maybe your friends, but surfing the internet just ain't happening, young lady.
Yeah.
You know, I had to.
You get her some the old Worm video game on there, you know?
Yeah. Get her, maybe install like Tetris or something, and just let her go to work. But yeah, just she will be the revolutionary to the resurgence of T9 texting. Can't wait for that. Just that constant, I mean, it's Morse code, and I think that's where we're heading. Mom jeans are back. Let's bring the flip phones, can we?
It was so funny whipping
back,
out in public.
Right?
Yeah, I actually found, oddly enough, old Motorola Razr, hot pink with a black casing on it.
Nice.
I think it was my ex-wife's, but I'm gonna try to re-alive that thing and put a new battery in it and see if it'll work, because that'll be perfect for my kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, enough about all that jazz. Come and see us December 7th. Come and take it live. A God Awful Truth with a bunch of other rowdy and fun bands all throughout Texas. We got Rain headlining. We got God Hand from Houston, as well as Estrella. We've got Left for Dead, Lift the Curse, Dogma, Tibetan Sky Burial, and Kate and the Crushers. I can't wait to see those kids, like literal kids, 10, 12, and 14, just rip a set. It's going to be great. So come out early, support your scene. I got tickets for $10, $10 for 10 years of hanging out with people like this. So thank you guys again for your time, and we'll be in touch, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, brother. We're excited.